This is episode 125 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. We're getting deeper and deeper into the playoff hunt for this season, and while teams are starting to fall into place, we're starting to see where the Bengals and Browns' playoff hopes are going. For the Bengals, they're right in the thick of things, currently holding on to one of the wild card seeds. The Browns, they're not dead, officially yet. But, they're...
You keep on saying playoff, man. Dude, never mind. Go ahead.
I'm just saying they're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but they are 3-7, so hard to really say. The Steelers are in just as bad of a position though, and they have an easier schedule ahead of them. And yet, even then, I would be more surprised to see them make the playoffs than the Browns. Because why, Thomas?
Because Pittsburgh still sucks. You suck, Pittsburgh.
Damn right. We got some people. Sergeant Crust Nugget, that's my guy again. Matthew, you're back. Good to see. Sorry, by the way, to everybody who was in the chat earlier, hey, when are you starting? We, syncing up our schedules is difficult sometimes. But we're all here and we're ready to go. So let's do it. Let's go.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
So, the playoffs. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm just loving all this talk on Ohio State's website where they talk about firing the head coach and shit. Very funny. But anyway, go ahead.
What's funny is it was like one season ago, Ohio State fans were all about that Ryan Day, he's like the next great college coach of all time, and now they're calling for him to be fired. I don't think they've been fine. You don't fire your head coach just because you didn't win every single game, I mean, I know losing to Michigan is treasonous for Ohio State fans, but if you look at the rival, this isn't a college football podcast, by the way, but obviously we're both Ohio residents and Ohio football fans, so it's something that happens.
Man, look.
I get if you lose to Michigan, that's bad, but
Michigan's a good team, man. I mean, my father's a Michigan fan, so shout out to my dad, y'all. Yeah, he's probably happy right now. In fact, I ain't gonna say probably, he is very happy right now. But shout out to him. He's probably enjoying this little win over Ohio State. Ohio State fans are the most arrogant scumbags on this earth. What's funny about it is just watching Ohio State fans cry and suffer. And my friend was like, "Why are you laughing so much?" I know this is how Ohio State fans are when Browns lose. So I'm just treating y'all the same way y'all treat us. Fuck y'all. Go back.
Yeah. The real Ohio State. The real Ohio College, the real Ohio University is
the real OHIO,
not the Ohio State University. Gets on my nerves. That they won a couple of championships and everybody's like, oh, it's the Ohio State University. I'm so sick of that.
By the way, how late? I was looking at these comments. How late did you? How long did you have the pre? How long did you have the pre-scream up? How long were the comments up, man? Because there were people talking for a minute.
Yeah, for an hour. We were waiting for you for an hour, Thomas.
Dude, I was on here. I was literally on here. I was literally sitting here playing video games, just watching. I called you, dude.
And you called me at 7:45. I've been ready to go since 7.
No, what I'm saying is I was ready at 7. I was sitting here. As soon as you sent me the link, I got on this thing and I was chilling. And I'm like, all right. No, you see. You said it at 7:10 10 because I was sitting here playing video games. So like at 7:17, I'm like, oh, it's right here. All right, well, here go the link. So I clicked it, and I'm just chilling there like, oh, he left the room. Well, he'll be back. So then I started playing video games.
That's not accurate because I left the room at like 7:30 and I came back at 7:40.
Well, yeah, because I called. I'm like, look, man, I gotta go to the grocery store, man. Because the grocery store closed at 9. All right, yeah. So like, I wanted to pocket. Anyway, we're here. We're here.
I think you may have forgotten to move your. Wait, Matthew, do you?
No, different time zone.
Chicago. I feel like I remember you saying you lived in Chicago. It might be a different time zone for you. It's 8:04 right now where we live.
Yeah, in Ohio. We're in the Eastern time zone, yet we're in the Midwest. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on to the Bengals and Browns, the topics that we're here to discuss in the first place. So the Browns currently sitting at a like a 1%. I think it was a 2% chance to make the playoffs. And if you lose to the Buccaneers, then that'll be like a less than 1% chance. But if you lose to the Buccaneers, you're one game away from being mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
If we lose the Buccaneers is over. And it's already over. Hey, like for the record, by the way, before any of y'all get on here and start talking about, well, Thomas, you were talking all that shit. By the way, I said back in I said back in October, if y'all remember me dressed up in a mask and a Jason mask, I said it was over back then. And hey, as he excited to watch the Browns Buccaneers game. Yeah, I'm perfectly excited about watching Tom Brady shit all over my football team tomorrow. It's gonna be so much fun. Shit.
I mean, you only got one game left before you can go watch the quarterback that you paid $40 million for.
Yeah, and then he's gonna be mathematically eliminated. Here you go, Deshaun Watson. Mathematically eliminated.
He's not going to be mad. Like I said, if you lose to the Buccaneers, then you have one game left. If you lose one game, you'll be mathematically eliminated. But not if you lose. I actually did the math. Like there's no like even if like you guys lose and like a certain no matter what other combination of teams win, you still have a chance.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Like there ain't no way the shot
not a realistic chance.
They're gonna win 6 games in a row, man. Come on. Like, all right, for the record, what I think is gonna happen for the rest of the season. The Browns gonna lose tomorrow, maybe. Actually, I got the predictions yet. But I think what's gonna happen is that the last 6 games are gonna be a opportunity for us to get Deshaun Watson acclimated with our team. And you're gonna hit the ground running next year. Basically, everything for Deshaun Watson is for next year. Take off the rust, Watson. Do whatever you need to do so you can be ready for this team next year. It sucks being a Browns fan.
Oh, it's going to be it is going to be an interesting transition, I think, when Deshaun Watson comes back. Because, you were, up here talking, 10 weeks ago about how, hey, man, we're going to, gotta go into the bye with just this number of wins, and then Deshaun Watson can get us 5 wins, and then we're 9-8, and then 9-8 will make the playoffs, and now you're like, bro, Deshaun Watson's not even here yet, and the season's over.
Well, no, because all right, so 10 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, was it we're 2-2, right? So I'm like, all right, Jacoby doesn't look that bad. And to Jacoby Brissett's credit, he really didn't play that bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jacoby Brissett sucks in 2-minute drills. But everything else, he's fine. In fact, he really isn't that bad. And Jacoby Brissett probably won't get a starting quarterback job somewhere else in the league next year. My problem is that freaking defense. My grandma can run for 200 yards on that defense. What the heck? All you gotta do is just take Myles Garrett out. These motherfuckers don't play with no heart.
Well, Joe Mixon didn't.
I don't know how Joe Mixon did. Y'all must not try.
To answer your question, Matthew, Deshaun Watson comes back next week, but this week is his last week of suspension. Until he gets in trouble again, he gets suspended next year.
Shut up. Let me get a hat on, by the way. Let me put a hat on. Oh, my hair looks really bad right now. Oh, that's not a lot better.
All right.
Team that makes the playoffs. Every team in Cleveland can make the playoffs with the Browns.
Oh boy.
Yeah, go Cavs.
Hey, y'all are getting the MLS team, right? Like I heard that.
Yeah, no. See, I misread that. We're not getting an MLS team. We're getting an MLS next team. So basically, we're getting a AAA affiliate of an MLS team. But as you know, that's how
you're getting like a USL team.
Yeah, but you know how it goes. That's how you get to the MLS.
Well, that's how
they're gonna probably. Yeah. You just do that, and then crowd sizes and whatnot.
Yeah,
and then
go to the games and you get an MLS team. But
they get
that's kind of cool. Like right now we've got this rivalry with the Columbus Crew, but honestly, there's no real like history there. Like not that there would be much history with like a Cleveland soccer team and a Cincinnati soccer team, but at least you've got like the rivalry of other sports to go off of. Whereas like Cincinnati and Columbus don't really have much of a rivalry. Like me, as being somebody who's like anti-Ohio State, and actually for that matter, like UC is actually like UC and Ohio State don't seem to like each other very much. So there is that, but it's not as like storied as the Bengals-Browns rivalry.
I think it's okay. Come on, Kyle. Like you live in Ohio, so it's like how much like everybody thinks that their city's better than the other city. 3 C's, how 3 C's really secretly hate each other. Like I fucking hate Columbus. Like I hate Columbus. Like I hate Columbus so much that I hate Ohio State. Like I hate that city. God, I hate that city. Like, is there anything worse than Columbus in this world?
I actually don't hate Columbus. Like
I do.
That's fair.
Like plenty of people don't like Columbus. Plenty of people don't like Columbus. Columbus, there's nothing special about Columbus. It's just people on Columbus tell themselves there's something special about Columbus.
I mean, there's definitely nothing bad, or there's nothing good about Columbus, or there's nothing special about Columbus.
Let's go watch a hockey game,
Every time I've been to Columbus, I had a pretty good time. Now, I will say that is true with Cleveland, but the reason I don't like Cleveland is not because Cleveland's a bad city. The reason I don't like Cleveland is out of spite.
Oh.
Because by the way, Thomas, I did finally get around to watching Sir Yacht's interview with Tim Couch. And,
for real?
And yeah, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. That made me hate Cleveland even more watching that interview.
Shout out to Sir Yacht, by the way. Y'all haven't seen
Shout out to Tim Couch, who deserved better.
like that was what you guys say with the interview. Like no, like shout out to our friend who we gotta get Sir Yacht back on his podcast. By the way, I gotta talk to him, see if we can back on his podcast. But like, yeah, that'd be he's blowing up. He's blowing up right now. So I'm loving what Sir Yacht's doing. I mean, shout out. I haven't seen it. Sir Yacht's interviewing all of the Cleveland Browns players who quarterback for the Browns since 1999. Good luck with that. He's gonna take him 10 years. Yeah, Tim Couch was the first one. Shout out to Tim Couch, y'all.
That'd be interesting. I mean, that's just so many human beings you have to reach out to be able to.
About 29. And he's gonna do it. Knowing Sir Yacht, he's gonna do it. That guy. It was ironic. He just texted right now.
I would watch every single interview. I really would. Like I'm fascinated by most people who the Browns drafted at quarterback or had as their quarterback. Oddly enough, I liked all of them. Like the only one I didn't like was Johnny Manziel. But other than Johnny Manziel, I like the Browns. I don't know why, but the Browns keep like picking up quarterbacks who I liked prior. I also don't really like Deshaun Watson, but there's
hey, nobody likes Deshaun Watson. Yo, I mean, like, by the way, let me just say this though. Let me just say this. I want to say one thing about the game and get to the Bengals. Check out Sir Yacht's content. He's a really good friend of mine. He works really hard. With those videos are great. Check out his content. Shout out to him. But getting to this game itself, if I were to look for any advantages for the Browns, obviously the advantage is Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper is our offensive threats. I'm not worried about the offense because Tampa Bay don't really have a good defense for real. So I think our offense is going to put up points. Our offense has been putting up points all season. The offense hasn't been a problem. The problem with the Browns, my friend is literally texting me telling me he thinks the Browns are going to win right now. My problem with the Browns is their defense. Now, this is where something comes in favor. Now, if I'm not mistaken, look at the weather report tomorrow. The weather is calling for rain. It's going to be during kickoff. It's going to be it's supposed to rain and it's supposed to be windy. Yeah, it's supposed to be rain. It's supposed to rain. It's 77% chance that it's going to be raining at kickoff. So it's probably going to be raining all game, on and off. It's going to slow down, so it's going to be rainy and it's going to be windy. And it's going to be about 58. It's going to be about 58 degrees with about 15 to 20 mile per hour winds. So the weather is going to be a factor in the game. I wish the weather was worse, personally.
And that's interesting, Thomas, because the Buccaneers and the Browns both have two of the worst run defenses in the NFL, both of them. Now, the Browns, you know all about how bad the Browns run defense is. They have the worst in the NFL, period. The Buccaneers aren't that bad, but they're definitely a bottom 10 team as far as run defense goes. The difference here is that the Browns have the you could argue the best rushing attack right now. Overall, it's the second best rushing attack in the NFL. The Buccaneers, however, have arguably the worst.
Yeah.
They can't run the ball. Hold on.
By the way, shout outs to SGP Crush Nugget. Said my little brother was watching. Shout out to you and your little brother for watching the podcast. We appreciate y'all for watching.
Yeah, I don't know what that sounds. It's Discord. Why am I getting a call on Discord? No. Hey, Sergeant, probably not best to call me in the middle of a podcast. It's one of the viewers. We're friends on Discord now, but don't call me in the middle of a podcast because I can't watch. Anyway, sorry, Thomas. What were you saying? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I was just saying, shout out to Sergeant.
Because it wasn't him.
Yeah.
It was definitely your account. I don't know what that was.
Dun, 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 dun. It wasn't me. Dun, 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 dun. It wasn't me. Dun, 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 dun. It wasn't me. So why is the weather interesting? Why would the weather be a factor for the Browns versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
If it's really bad weather, then it's going to be a running game. And if it's a running game, then both teams are bad at defending against the run, but only the Browns are good at actually running.
Yeah, hold up. Let me look at something real quick. I need to see what Tom Brady looked like as a woman real quick. Tom Brady as a woman. Let's see.
I hope he
does. Oh, no, he's hot. He's hot. He's hot. Yep, we're losing.
Oh, okay. I got you.
You're losing. Okay. Unfortunately.
All right, then.
Come on, man. He's the GOAT, man. He's the greatest football player of all time. You think he ain't going to come to Cleveland and just put on a show for us?
I mean, y'all talking about you're always talking about how the Browns have good cornerbacks, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Just one thing I didn't know about the defense. Defense does play better when the weather's bad for some reason. Or when the weather is at least a little bit cold. They suck in warm weather. So obviously, maybe the weather might help the defense. I don't know how that works. I don't know the science behind that. But that's just from my own observation watching the thing. Realistically, the Browns have really good chances game. Vegas got us 3.5. Got the Tampa Bay on 3.5 favorites. Usually, when a game only decided when it's just 3.5 difference, that means that it can go either way. And Vegas is saying that either one of these teams could win. Tampa Bay is technically the favorite, but don't be surprised when the Browns win. That's what Vegas is telling you. Me, I'm telling you, as a Browns fan, it's over.
So the odds, I don't know if these are the Vegas odds, but I mean the spread that I have for the Browns and Buccaneers, you're right, they are 3-point favorites. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites for theirs game.
Who they playing?
The Titans.
The Titans.
I think the main thing for that is Since
Ooh.
all of this has come out, the Bengals will be missing both Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase in this game. So I think that's the main reason. Now, I will say the fact that we're missing two of our best players and we're still the fact that we're still favored and we're missing two of our best players, I think that bodes pretty well. Like,
Y'all got
the
it.
other thing is, I will say, you remember we beat the Titans in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know what happened in that game. Like, Jamar Chase was the top receiver in the game because, of course, Jamar Chase was the top receiver in the game. But
Yeah.
let's see. The Jamar Chase was the top receiver in that game, but T. Higgins was almost a 100-yard receiver in that game too. The Titans just can't cover anybody, like, straight up. Like, at least when we played them, they couldn't. It wasn't a big Joe Mixon game. It wasn't a big. It was a big Joe Burrow game. That's what it was, and that was with. Oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry. That was the AFC divisional playoffs. There it is. Yeah, Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times, and he still had a huge game. He got sacked 9 times. Now, he didn't throw any touchdowns. He only threw 1 interception. The only touchdown in the game came from Joe Mixon. That is true. But he also threw for 348 yards. So, 28 completions, 37 attempts. He did throw 1 interception, and that interception was, I argued at the time that I didn't really think it was an interception, but they called it anyway, so it's on the stat sheets. But, the point is, Joe Burrow actually had a pretty good game, just didn't end up, getting it in the end zone. But a lot of that was, due to, utilizing guys like T. Higgins, C.J. Uzama. That combined was more than anything Jamar Chase did.
I'm just looking at the Bengals schedule here, and first of all, I do agree. I think that you guys do have an open woman advantage against Tennessee Titans for multiple reasons. Tennessee Titans are a very one-dimensional team. We all know who that dimension is. His name is Mr. Derrick Henry. I still think you're getting much out of Ryan Tannehill. You guys have a better quarterback. Now, not having Joe Mixon and not having Jamar Chase is going to be a problem. I still think Joe Burrow could have a good passing game because, like you said, you don't think that Tennessee can defend the pass at all, do you?
No.
So I think Joe Burrow. But it's very intuitive that y'all win this game because looking ahead, y'all have the Chiefs and y'all have the Browns who y'all struggle with. I'm not saying y'all gonna beat us, but I mean that is a Deshaun Watson-led Browns team. You don't want that guy to catch heat. It's not going to, the schedule don't really get much easier the next few weeks. So this is a game that you guys should try your best. This is I wouldn't say a must win, but a very important time to win is right now.
Well, if the Bengals win, their playoff odds right now are 65%. So it's a pretty safe bet that the Bengals will make the playoffs in some capacity right now with them being 6-4. But if they beat the Titans, their playoff odds go up to 80% or something like that. So
there you go.
Well, it's not like if they lose, their playoff odds still stay above 50. So it's not like the biggest problem in the world if they lose.
Your back half of the schedule is really
Henry is the best quarterback on the Titans. That's funny.
Yeah, he probably is.
True.
Honestly, yeah, shit.
Now, as far as Derrick Henry goes, though, the Bengals have a history of containing Derrick Henry fairly well. So they've played him 3 times in his career. The first time they played him, they held him to 52 yards on 11 attempts. That was that's not too bad. What's that like? That's 4.7 yards per carry, which obviously that's good enough. But if you're only getting 52 yards running the ball, and you're the focal point of the offense, that's not too bad. Now, that was 2017 when it was a different Titans team. But then fast forward to 2020, last year in the 2022, the playoffs, the 16-19 game where we beat them. We held Derrick Henry to 62 yards on 20 attempts. So, I mean, I know that's pushing near the 100, but I mean, that's 3.1 yards per carry. That's atrocious. Now, I don't care who you are. So I mean, the Bengals can handle Derrick Henry. There was in 2020 we played him in the regular season, and Derrick Henry got 112 yards. Don't forget how bad that Bengals team was. And quite frankly, I remember that game. I remember coming out of that game. I'd have to go back and like really analyze it to tell you exactly like what my thought process is on all of it. But I remember thinking at the time that like, man, I think we actually did a much better job. Like, I mean, the stats aren't going to show that we did a good job against Derrick Henry, but I actually think we did a pretty good job against him. I think what it was throughout the vast majority of the game, we actually did really well against Derrick Henry, and then the Titans just kind of got ahead of us at the end, and then Derrick Henry like busted off a few big runs at the end, and that kind of like skewed the final product. But as I recall, through most of the game, we were actually handling Derrick Henry pretty well. So if there's one team who I actually trust to play pretty well against Derrick Henry, it's the Bengals. And then, I mean, who else is going to beat us? Traylon Burks?
I don't really see a way y'all lose this game, I'll be real with you. I don't really see a way y'all lose this game for real. I just don't really think the Titans are really that good. It's insane to me that they got the record they have. Coaching, I don't know. Culture, you have players who've been there who just made the playoffs the last couple of years, and they just able to just beat bad teams. How the hell the Titans? Oh yeah, they playing the worst division in football.
Yeah, they're running away with their division because they're competing with the Colts, Texans, and Jaguars.
Did I see today's post on Twitter? Which one?
I don't know. I think he's talking about a post he made, but you don't. I'm assuming you don't follow him on Twitter.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, so you'll have to tell us what that post is, Sergeant Crust Nugget.
Yeah,
from Brazil. Go Brazil. I like Brazil.
Hey man, Brazil's awesome, man. I never met an ugly girl from Brazil. All right, let's see. Who did they beat? The Bills beat the Titans beat the Raiders, bad team. The Colts, bad team. The Commanders, mediocre team. The Colts, bad team. The Texans, bad team. The Broncos, bad team. The Packers, bad team. Their best win is the Commies.
Okay, so let's take a step back on that too, because like the Commanders, I think right now the Commanders are a good team.
Yeah, but now
the Commanders that the Titans beat was Carson Wentz Commanders.
There you go.
So,
like, so who did they beat? You suck, Carson.
Sergeant Crust Nugget, he's at T_star at T_star94 on Twitter. So you can follow him there.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comment section where you should find it.
There you go. But yeah, like honestly, like you're right. Like who have the Titans really beat? Not a whole lot. Now that doesn't mean anything really because the Bengals are because for the Bengals it doesn't mean anything because the Bengals play down to their opponents constantly. I mean, you're fine, Jay. I wasn't sure if somebody was trying to get a hold of me. That's all that was.
I mean, the Titans are all right. So the Titans are the worst team in the. The Titans play in the worst division in football, the AFC South, or second worst division in football. Because the worst division in football is the NFC South. Gotta love the South, y'all. So they beat up on bad teams. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts come back and win the division. That'd be hilarious for me.
I would be pretty shocked if that happened because, like, the Colts are just like as much as the Colts are like seem like they're doing a little bit better ever since they made the coaching change. I don't think that that's sustainable. I don't think that they're going to stay playing a lot better. And I mean, just don't like as. Who do the Titans have left to play? I mean, it's not. I've seen their schedule. Their schedule is not too tough all year, right?
Yeah, no.
So they got the Eagles. Okay, so they got the Bengals and Eagles next, and that could be rough for them.
Yeah. So
although I could also see them beating the Eagles because, like, as really talented and insanely good as the Eagles are, they're also very beatable at the same time.
No, they're going to lose the Bengals.
Chargers,
they're going to lose the Eagles.
Cowboys, Jaguars. Like the end of the year for them is just a joke.
I wish he was in their division.
Do what?
Don't you wish they were in there? Don't you wish that you were in their division? Like they
gotta win, like because if you're in that division, then when it comes time for the playoffs, you're not battle tested. That's why the Titans have been so shit in the playoffs lately. Is
What
probably
else?
because they're not playing a tough schedule, and then they finally have to play tough teams when it finally comes around, and they're not used to it. I'd rather be in the AFC North.
They're gonna lose to the Jaguars. They're gonna lose to the Chargers.
Well, they're not gonna lose to the Jaguars.
I'm sorry, they're gonna lose to y'all. They're gonna lose to the Eagles.
Okay.
They're gonna beat the Jaguars. I give you that. They're gonna lose to the Chargers.
Now they'll beat the Chargers.
They'll beat Texans, and then they're gonna playoff spot right there. They'll be 9. They'll win 9 games. They'll probably win the division by then. And they got a home game. They'll lose to the Cowboys, and they'll probably beat the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, you're supposed to beat something. Scrub ass pretty boy.
Well, he's definitely not been something this year, but he was, and then he kind of fell off.
Scrub ass pretty boy. I mean, man, that's the biggest bust in the NFL, man, since what's his name? Jamarcus Russell.
I wouldn't say the biggest bust since Jamarcus Russell. Like, first of all, Johnny Manziel's the biggest bust. Like I can think.
Yeah, but Johnny Manziel didn't go number 1 overall, man.
That's
this guy.
True. That's
man,
true.
But here's the thing about Trevor. This is the thing about Trevor Lawrence, man. People were talking about Trevor Lawrence like he was freaking Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck. They were talking about Trevor Lawrence 2 years before he even came out of college and like, oh my God, this guy Trevor Lawrence. Man, he haven't done nothing. And he don't deserve to be cussing at him. Like, come on, Trevor Lawrence, scrub. Well, you can't blame Urban Meyer this year. You just suck this year.
All right, so let's jump into our predictions for the week. And awesome. So I need to go ahead and me and Thomas, obviously the Thanksgiving games have already passed. We texted each other our predictions beforehand. So I mean the only one we really disagreed on was the Patriots-Vikings game, and Thomas got that one wrong. I got that one right. We both picked the Lions, and the Lions almost had a chance, and then they didn't. And then we both picked the Cowboys, and that did happen. So I'm 2-1 on the week. Thomas is 1-2 on the week. But outside of that, we were pretty much the same. So we're gonna go ahead and I need to bring up the stopwatch thing. 30 seconds.
All right, this is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah,
hey, by the way, guys, if y'all have predictions of the games that we're predicting, go ahead and put in the comment section because I love to hear y'all predictions and who y'all think going to win and why.
Yeah, and next year, I'm thinking like next year we'll set up like a pick'em league or something where we can all do that, and also it makes it easier for us to keep track of our numbers because I honestly probably have screwed it up a couple of times so far this year, so the numbers probably aren't super accurate, but they're what they are. But anyway,
they are what we thought they were.
Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and get these set up here, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the predictions. Okay, so Thomas, you picked the Patriots. We both picked the Lions. And then we both picked the Cowboys. So
yeah, I thought the Patriots would win, man. I don't know why I thought to start,
Well, you were probably thinking because of what happened last week with the Vikings and the Cowboys.
Yeah,
probably thinking they're like frauds and stuff, right?
No, you know what it is that it's just I just thought that Bill Belichick might have a game plan, but you know what I mean. Maybe Bill Belichick is who I thought he was,
but he would not be who you thought he was because you thought he was good. And I still think he's good, but Mikey said he picked Lions, Giants, and Patriots, so it didn't work out for you at all, did it? Like at all?
Nah.
That's rough. That's a rough slate. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So we're starting off with the Texans and the Dolphins. So let me share my screen real quick.
All right.
And why do I not how to okay. All right, we're good now?
Ready?
All right.
Yeah, I'm ready. All right,
Let's
go.
Dolphins.
All right. I want to go with the Dolphins because the Texans suck. I yield all my time to the chair.
Wow. Well, that was
What do you want me to say? I ain't gonna wait 30 seconds on that game. I'm not wasting 30 seconds on that game. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
You can. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Okay, well, I mean, honestly, there's only a couple of things to really talk about here. Like the Texans benched their quarterback, which I think is stupid, by the way, because like I thought Davis Mills been like he hasn't been great, but he's not the problem, and I feel like he's been like generally pretty okay throughout his career so far. So I feel like the Texans benching Davis Mills is a sign that they're just tanking now. And if they're tanking, the Dolphins will beat them. So I agreed. Dolphins.
And hi, Jay Valentine. How you doing? I'm sorry. A guy been saying hi in the chat for like the last hour, and I just wanted to say hi.
Well, there's that, and I think he also wants to. He's asking if he can talk. I let him come on the stream the last time I streamed, and so I think he might be asking to do that. We're not going to do that this episode, Jay. We're not going to do that every week. But maybe next time I do like a game stream or something. We're not going to do that for this podcast. But if you want, let us know who you're picking, and I'll put you up on the screen. We can talk to you that way.
Oh, I thought he was going to talk to us about our extended car warranty. That's what
extended car warranty.
I'm sorry.
Oh, nice. All right, next up, Thomas. It's the let's see, what do we got? I still got the screen share up. Okay. Well, next up we got the Jets and the Bears. Go ahead.
Jets and the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
You got my 30 seconds up?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong screen. I'm looking at the computer. All right, Jets and the Bears. That's actually fun because Justin Fields been doing well. Shout out to Justin Fields. You've been looking good. You've been doing better than what Ohio State's been doing. Mikey said he got the Bears. I'm actually gonna go with the Jets and Mike White. Yeah.
All right. Before I go, Jay, if you want to talk to me after the stream, like text me on Discord. I can't take a call because I got some work I got to do. But if you want to text me, I can talk to you after that. But anyway,
making friends. Look at you.
Trying to build a community. That's what I'm trying to do. But all right.
Jay
So Bears and Jets. So Mike White. As much as it sounds crazy to say, Mike White might be better than Zach Wilson. He was so bad. I thought like Zach Wilson was my pick in that draft class to be like, the token bust of the draft class. I was like, because like, how people draft quarterbacks, so many quarterbacks get drafted. So one of them is bound to be a bust. And I figured it'd be Zach Wilson. So I do think the Jets are going to be better without him. Because of that, I'm going with the Jets too.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So next up, so we're both taking the Jets then.
Yeah, we're both taking the Jets.
All right. So next up, we got the Broncos going to Carolina to play the Panthers. Go.
Ooh, Broncos versus Panthers. What do? They benched Baker Mayfield for Sam Darnold, so all the quarterbacks got benched for each other. Like
Sam Darnold got benched earlier this year for Baker Mayfield, I think.
You know what? As much as I hate Russ, the Panthers look bad. They don't know what the fuck they're doing right now, so I'm going to Broncos.
Sure. Okay, so you're taking the Broncos. And wait, no, that one's you. This one's me. I'm also going to take the Broncos because pretty much the same stuff you said. The Panthers can't seem to get anything together. They got a quarterback carousel going on. And as bad as Russell Wilson's been this year, I have been saying he's going to bounce back at some point and maybe not be like the Hall of Fame talent that the Broncos thought they were getting, but he's at least going to be a good quarterback at some point. And, I mean, why not the Panthers be the team he bounces back against, if anybody, right? All right, so I got the I still, to be clear, I still don't think that the Broncos are going to drop 1 billion points on them. I just think Russell Wilson's not going to look awful.
Okay.
All right, so next up we got the Raiders and the Seahawks. Go.
Seahawks. It's insane to me how bad the Raiders are. It's just insane to me how bad the Raiders are, how bad the Raiders got, and how bad the Raiders, man, they could have done like so much. You would think that McDaniels would be so much better than what he is. No, he's not. Give me Seahawks.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go now. I don't think Mikey says he's got the Raiders. I don't know about that. So, like Thomas, I remember a couple years back, you and all the other Browns fans were getting excited about potentially getting Josh McDaniels, and this is exactly what I was trying to tell you guys about. Like, just because he's a big name doesn't mean that going and getting him is going to make any sense. It's like when y'all were clamoring for Mike McCarthy. Like, it's not necessarily going to work out just because he has a notable name. So, I mean, the Raiders are bad. And the other thing is the Seahawks are really good this year. Like, the Seahawks are winning their division. The Seahawks, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, to be completely honest with you. I'd be a little surprised. They're not going to pick.
NFC is so bad. NFC is so bad. The NFC is so bad. What does the NFC really have, for real? What team, the best team in the NFC is the Eagles.
Yeah.
And
the Eagles are legit pretty good. The Eagles and the Vikings are like the class of the AFC or the NFC right now.
Yeah.
And both of them are kind of questionable. So, but then again, in the AFC, you've got the Chiefs are the only team that are really a juggernaut. It was the Bills, and the Bills kind of fell off.
I just feel like their records would be a lot worse if they played in the AFC. Each of them. Well, unless they play for the AFC South.
All right, so next up we got the hold on. We both picked the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
All right, next up we got the Chargers and the Cardinals. Go.
I'm gonna draw a blank here. Cliff Kingsbury, our favorite coach to rag on. He's just bad. But I honestly, wait, is Kyler Murray playing?
I don't know. It's I don't think they've announced it.
Not Chargers.
Okay.
Cardinals stuck in the second half of the season with that coach. Chargers.
Yeah. All right. So I really don't believe in either of these teams. That's the thing.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I drew a blank there for a second. I'm like, damn. Mike
and Jay are both saying the Chargers. But personally, I don't know, man. The Cardinals have a lot of talent. The Chargers are vulnerable. I appear to have been wrong about Brendan Staley. I thought he was going to be a really good coach, and he seems to just be getting in the Chargers' way. I don't really believe in Justin Herbert the way he's playing right now. So I'm going. I'm not calling this my big upset of the week because I don't think it's that much of an upset. But I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'm going to disagree with all y'all. I'm going to take the Cardinals.
All right, there you go.
All right, so next up, we got the Rams going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Go ahead.
Rams playing the Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. And the crazy thing is I actually see the Rams winning this game. This is the reason why I hesitated because I'm trying to figure out what my big upset of the week myself. I can actually see the Rams winning this game for real. I really can. I mean, Chiefs aren't unbeatable, and the Rams are a team that can sneak over them. But Patrick Mahomes. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah. So I'm going to sort of disagree with you on this one. I don't think the Rams can sneak up on anybody this year. They're awful. The Rams are terrible. I'm very annoyed that the Bengals lost to them in the Super Bowl because they're not any good. I don't really know how. The Chiefs are just so far ahead of the Rams. I'm taking the Chiefs, and I'm taking the Chiefs over whatever the spread is, whatever the score line is. The Chiefs are going to do better than that because the Rams are just a joke. Which is a shame because remember a couple years back, the Rams had the highest performing offense in the NFL, and the Rams played the Chiefs and they both scored 50 something points.
Well, the problem is the way the Rams built their team wasn't long term sustainable. It's kind of like how the Golden State Warriors built their team versus how the Cavs built their team. The Rams built their team off of trading away a lot of draft picks and short term success. They knew that this wasn't going to be a long term thing, and the short term was even shorter term than I thought it would be. So,
that's the other thing I forgot. Just that Matt Stafford's not playing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah. Shout out to Mikey for having that fact up ready for us. And then the players are getting old. They're old, man. The Rams are old.
Mm-hmm.
And they got no draft picks. They have no way to replenish it. They just got to be old. And they got no cap room. They're just stuck. So the Rams might be bad for a minute. Gradually on Super Bowl, LA.
What do you mean, like Madden, Jay? I have Madden. I don't play it a whole lot because I find EA to be a reprehensible company that has destroyed their game. But if that's what you mean, as far as like playing football, like in real life, no, I'm 30. I'm 30 and I'm not in the NFL. I don't play football anymore.
Hey, no, y'all can play me. Y'all can play me in Super Smash Brothers. Not Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, that game. But y'all can see me in that. What's it called? The Mario Strikers. I'll smash off of Mario Strikers. I can't see these hands.
Well, that's a kind of football. All right. Yeah. So next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons and the Washington Commanders. Go ahead.
Atlanta Falcons versus Commies. I'm going to go with the Commies. The Falcons are bad. I don't know how the heck we lost to them. What do we got? Marcus Mariota, that's quarterback. Yeah, they're trash. Yeah, give me the Commies, and I think they're going to do pretty good because I like Taylor Heineke. I'm on Taylor Heineke train. Shout out to you, Taylor Heineke.
All right.
Full red.
So they are talking about Madden. Yeah, I have it. I can play it, but it's just such a joke of a game anymore, man. Like I don't know. I wish I used to be such a Madden fanboy, man. I wish EA would go back to that game being something worth like the purchase every year, But anyway, Falcons and Commanders. Looks like we actually got a bit of a disagreement here in the chat. Mikey says Commanders. Yeah. Jay says Falcons. I am also kind of split on this one because, like, Thomas, the Falcons I think are a little bit better than you're giving them credit for. Like, they're not good, but they're a legitimate playoff hunt type of team, right? So. and then like the Saints and the Falcons, or no, I'm sorry, not the Saints and the Falcons. I'm going to give myself more time because I can. The Commanders and the Falcons. Wow. The Commanders are the better team, quite frankly. So I don't know. I don't know. Like, I guess the Commanders. I'm going with the Commanders. Okay. So this one really is the Saints. So now it's Saints 49ers. Go ahead.
Saints is 49ers. Who's playing home?
49ers, I think. Yeah, 49ers.
Give me the 49ers. I just, the Saints, they just don't have a quarterback, and they're struggling with it. They still were able to win 4 games, one of my team, but they need a quarterback in that team. Give me the 49ers.
Okay. So Tom's going with the 49ers. I am going to go. I'm going to make this my big upset of the week. Not it's that big, but, it's an upset, I think. Because, like, the 49ers are probably a better team than the New Orleans Saints. But my boy Andy Dalton is not playing in primetime. And Mikey wants the Saints to win. So that's pretty much all Mikey. That's pretty much all I need. Let's go Saints. Go Saints.
Shout out to Mikey.
Shout out to Mikey and shout out to my boy Andy Dalton. So
but shout out to Jay.
The Saints in the upset this week.
Shout out to Jay Valentine for agreeing with me though. 49ers. Appreciate you. He plays retro ball. I don't know what retro ball is, but I think I need to play that game. All right, who got next?
Okay. Next up, we got the Packers and the Eagles in Philadelphia. Who you got?
Oh, this is a good game. Actually, you know what's crazy about that? I actually want to go with this as my big upset of the week. And here's why. You said there are problems with the Eagles. I still think Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Even though there's been a struggle this year, I think that it comes down to leadership with him. But I'm going with the Packers, the upset to beat the Eagles this week.
That's fair. That really is fair. I was actually thinking about making this my big upset of the week, but then I thought better of it. You know who else is really bad at defending against the run, Thomas? The Packers. You know what the Eagles are really good at doing? Running the ball. So, I don't know, man. The Packers have been kind of getting into a bit of a better rhythm lately as Christian Watson has been kind of emerging for them at the wide receiver position. But I just the Eagles, I don't know if the Eagles are legit as good as their record indicates or not. Yeah. But I do think they're better than the Packers, at least this year's Green Bay Packers. So I do think that the Eagles are going to get the win. It might be a close game, might not be a blowout, but I think the Eagles are going to take it. Sergeant Crust Nugget says Eagles, Mikey says Eagles, and Jay says Packers. So Jay agrees with you.
There you go.
That's 2 in a row he agrees you with.
That's
all right.
There, y'all.
So next up, we're going into the AFC North game. So we're going to start with Ravens and Jaguars. Go ahead.
Man, I really want to pick the Jaguars. I really want to. The thing is, though, is that what you seen last week from the Ravens, the book is out on them, man. Defenses are stopping them. We're seeing that happen. And as much as I want to say the book is out on Lamar Jackson, they have such an easy schedule. They're going to squeeze the playoffs. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens, man. I don't think the Ravens are gonna take this win. Sucks because I really want the Ravens to lose the game. But they're not gonna lose the game for a minute because I know I hear the alarm. I hear the alarm, Mom. I'm coming, waking up.
Okay. All right. So, crap. I put this thing off. All right, so I really also want to take the Jaguars, but it's really hard to do that because it's the Jaguars, right? I'm really kind of feeling the Ravens dropping this one. Honestly, mainly just because the Jaguars are at home and it feels like the Ravens have been kind of on the precipice of a big crazy ass upset lately. Yeah. But I can't do it this week. I just can't. This is the Jaguars. So
just can't do it. Jaguars.
I can't do it. I'm picking the Ravens. All right. So next up we got the Steelers and the Colts. Go ahead.
Give me the Colts. Jeff Saturday's doing his thing. Steelers look bad. Kenny Pickett's not a good quarterback. Pittsburgh, you suck. Yo, give me the Colts. I don't know what to say. Jonathan Taylor, all them boys, you suck, Pittsburgh. Colts.
All right.
Fuck you, Pittsburgh.
Mikey is picking the Jaguars, so that would be great. I hope you're right, Mikey.
Yeah, shout out to you, Mike.
As much as I don't believe it's going to happen, fuck them Ravens.
Well, we score points against the Ravens. You can beat them because the Ravens aren't going to score a lot of points.
All right, so you said you're picking the Colts, Thomas?
Yeah.
Mikey's picking the Steelers. I'm gonna disagree with Mikey on this one. So the Colts have been playing a little bit better with the Jeff Saturday boost. I don't know if it's just the new guy thing or if Jeff Saturday's legit a good coach. I imagine it's probably the former. It's probably more so the rush you get when because when a new coach comes in, there's always this big initial push and everybody's like, oh, this new thing, let's go. And then it doesn't last. I imagine that's probably what's going on with the Colts, but it might carry over. It might carry over to this game with the Steelers, and honestly, the Steelers are just really bad anyway. So,
yeah,
I can confirm that as a fan of a team who just beat them. And then as I'm watching this game, I'm like, how did we not beat them in week 1?
I mean, Colts were 1 point away from beating the Eagles.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The Colts have been doing a little bit better lately. Jay says Yeah. They are the Squealers. So Colts. Yep, the Squealers. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
The Schittsburg Squealers. That's who they are. All right. 2 games left to go, and I think you all know which ones I'm talking about. So we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cleveland Browns. I'll let you go first on this one, Thomas.
I hate myself for this. I really do hate myself for this. But you're playing against a 45-year-old quarterback. The weather's bad. And Tampa Bay can't run the ball, and they got a bad defense. I'll go with the Browns.
You going with the Browns?
That's all you're gonna get from me for that game. That's all you're gonna get from me.
Well, we talked about it plenty earlier. You were definitely
I just don't want to jinx it because
Mikey agrees with you.
But it makes sense. But it's just on paper it makes sense a lot. But I don't know. Everything that I'm going with the Browns. That's all you're gonna get from me. That's it. We want to see what happens. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I think on paper, there is definitely a lot of reason to think that the Browns could potentially do something in this game. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think the Buccaneers are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be particularly super close. Now, I also don't think it's going to be particularly high scoring either. I think it's going to be like a 19-16 type of game, right? But I think I guess 19 to 10 or something like that, right? But I just think this is going to be like a low scoring type of affair, and Tom Brady's going to come out on top.
I don't think the Buccaneers have been that good this year. I mean, they got the Browns, granted. But
well, they haven't.
This is a team that lost to the Steelers and the Panthers. Those are both teams we beat.
Yeah, and those are both really bad teams, too.
And, we talk about strength of schedule, the teams the Buccaneers beat they beat the Cowboys, which was a good win, but that was with Dak getting injured. They beat the Saints. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Rams. And they beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks were the best win all year. I mean, it still is Tom Brady, don't get me wrong, but, I don't know, man. It's not. I can see it happening.
Yep. All right. Last game. We got the Last game, we got the Bengals hosting the. Is it hosting? No, sorry. It's Bengals going to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. What do you got, Thomas?
I think it's gonna be a close game, honestly, Kyle. I think that that there are injuries on the Bengals offense that might make you a little wary. I also think the Titans aren't a horrible team. I just think they have an easy schedule. But I still think the Bengals have the edge in this game. I think the Bengals will come on top. I think Joe Burrow proved that in the second half of the season he's just nasty. So give me the Bengals.
All right. So Thomas picking the Bengals. I'm pretty much going to agree with everything that you said, Thomas. I do think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to say something. Say similar thing I said about the Browns game. I think it's going to be fairly low scoring, just like it was in the playoffs last year. Part of it is the Bengals don't have Jamar Chase. They don't have Joe Mixon. So I think it's going to be a largely defensive type of affair, and I don't see there being a lot of defensive scoring either. So I think the Bengals are going to win, but I think it's going to be, neither team is going to get I think one team is going to go above 20, and the other team is not going to go above 20. And I think the Bengals are going to be it's going to be 24 to 17 or something like that. Bengals. Let's go.
I just seen the video of the Michigan players planting the flag on the Ohio State 50-yard line and posing and take a photo in front of it.
No,
funny as fuck.
That was funny.
Funny as fuck.
But anyway, Anyway, let's move on to the state of the AFC North real quick. We're almost an hour already into this podcast, so we probably need to go through this pretty quickly. Not that there's a whole lot left to talk about because we did just talk about both teams in predictions, but I think there's obviously there's obviously one big question for both teams, and that's the quarterback question. So with the Steelers, the quarterback question, I've actually seen people suggesting that the Steelers should draft a quarterback next year.
They probably should, honestly. I think they should. I think they should. I mean, Kenny Pickett ain't it. But but for all intents and purposes, y'all continue to still a pro. Cal, look, there ain't no way in hell you telling me that Kenny Pickett's their future.
No, not necessarily, but at the same time, I think, if you get like Kenny Pickett's not horrible. Like, I mean, he's not good, but I mean, he could be like, okay enough for like 5 years that it's like, do you really need to go draft another guy after you just drafted him? When the fact of the matter is the Steelers have so many problems on their team that if they spend all their resources on going and getting a quarterback, they can't build anything else. And so like, I think just maybe Kenny Pickett wasn't the best move, but like, we can't always have Joe Burrow like ready to be drafted. As not great as Kenny Pickett has been, the next guy you draft could be, for Steelers fans, Bubby Brister, or for anybody who's watching this podcast probably doesn't know who Bubby Brister is. It could be drafting Jamarcus Russell. You could get a lot worse than Kenny Pickett. And while you're probably disappointed that you got Kenny Pickett out of a first-round draft pick, at the same time, you already done took him, and it's not like it's not like the Steelers are going to be competitive in the next 5 years anyway. So you might as well build your football team and just let Kenny Pickett play for now, and then if you feel like you're ready to be competitive, maybe go try to make a trade for a veteran quarterback or something like that. But I wouldn't draft a new quarterback right away. I feel that'd be a waste of resources if I was Pittsburgh.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see about them, man.
I think it's funny. We ain't going to see much.
I just think it's funny. Fuck Pittsburgh.
He's Jay Valentine says the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than any team. They just had a terrible season. Well, but by definition, that makes them not better than any team. They're worse than most teams, quite frankly. The Pittsburgh Steelers are awful this year, and they're going to continue to be awful for a little while. They might get mildly better, but the Steelers are rebuilding. That's just the fact of the matter. The Steelers are going through a rebuilding period. Every team has to go through a rebuilding period sometimes. The Steelers are not.
Good luck finding that quarterback, Pittsburgh. Good luck finding that quarterback, Pittsburgh. And watch them find somebody too. Watch them find somebody. Some bullshit.
They'll find somebody at some point in the future, but it's not going to be for a while. Like I said, I think it's going to be Kenny Pickett. I think they're going to have Kenny Pickett for a while, and they're just going to ride Kenny Pickett because he's the guy who they drafted. And it's not like if they let's say they go draft the next Joe Burrow, right? They don't have the team to compete around him. It's gonna you remember the Bengals in 2020, right? Where Joe Burrow's rookie year, Joe Burrow looked really good, but the Bengals still finished.
Yeah, but let's hope that doesn't happen because then you're just like, all right, we got to win this year because we don't want to deal with that guy next year. So let's hope we win a championship this year. Because here's the thing, man. Deshaun Watson's going to play next year. Going to have a full season next year. So, go ahead, throw y'all punches now because next year you get a full season with Deshaun Watson. Shit could go down.
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, we will. We very well. And then, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I was about to say that's we got a similar quarterback discussion to talk about with the Ravens. So
he looked bad last week.
I agree.
Can I say that?
I agree. He looked bad, and they struggled against the Panthers. largely because Lamar Jackson did not look great.
But the
And he
thing
hasn't
is,
looked great all year. Like outside of like early at the beginning of this year, he got off. He was looking like an MVP type of candidate, but he hasn't looked like that in a while. I don't know if he's hurt or what.
the thing is that frustrates me about the Lamar Jackson conversation that we badly need to have, Kyle, that we always have, is that he plays for a very good organization. The Baltimore Ravens organization is a very great organization. They still have the Cleveland Browns traditions from back in the 60s that runs that organization. That keeps it a winning program because they have structure from the top down. You have the best kicker in the league. You have a solid defense. You have a very good coach. So you're able to shroud and mask so many deficiencies and take advantage of bad teams in the NFL and always have a winning record because you have so many good things around you. So now you have this quarterback who's struggling throwing the ball. And no, he hasn't looked worse throwing the ball than he has this year. He looks horrible. He's literally digressing with his passing ability. It's apparent to everybody that his passing ability is getting worse. I just wonder, like, cause they're gonna win. They about to win some games. They about to win some. I see that comment. They about to win. They're probably gonna win the division. It kind of sucks that they are because they have a very easy schedule to round out the rest of the season. So it's going to be unfortunate. We'll win some games, but like, I just don't think. I think as soon as Lamar Jackson gets to the playoffs, he gets exposed in the playoffs. I don't know, man. I don't just think this team. I really do think they should consider moving on from Lamar, man. I wouldn't pay him that money personally, but if y'all want to go ahead and pay him that money, go ahead and pay him that money. I would. I wouldn't at all. Go ahead,
Jay,
Kyle. I see that.
Who do you think my favorite team is?
It's the Carolina Panthers. You got the Carolina Panthers, right?
I like the Carolina Panthers, you know? Like, I mean, as far as, like, NFC teams, I say they're probably, like, one of my top 5. But no, I'm not a Carolina Panthers fan. And the boys says, go Bengals. Yes, sir. Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to the boys.
Good profile picture there, at least as far as Michigan and Ohio State go.
Yeah, that's funny. That Michigan beat Ohio State, man.
Not just that they beat them, but that they like killed them. And I think that's the thing. Like it was a really good, interesting game.
Oh, it was.
Up until like midway through the fourth quarter, and then Michigan just started pooping on them.
Dude, come on,
and then they planted the flag.
Come on, man. Cause like Michigan's always so arrogant. Michigan is so freaking. I'm not Michigan. Ohio State is so freaking arrogant. I get tired of those arrogant bastards. Go Bobcats.
It was like I was explaining to like a Bengals fan who was like, well, how are you live in Ohio and you don't root for the Ohio team? Like, you got just as bad as Steelers fans, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just sitting here like, bro, you guys do it to yourselves. Like I'm a Kentucky Wildcats fan. You know what they have to do with Ohio State? Virtually nothing. The last time Kentucky and Ohio State played each other was 1935. And that was one of three times they've ever played each other. I don't think Kentucky's ever won, but it's not the point. I'm a Kentucky fan. They have nothing to do with Ohio State. The reason I hate Ohio State is because Ohio State fans are so fucking arrogant and act like they're the only team in Ohio that matters, and they've done that for my entire life, basically. And so that's why I hate Ohio State. And that being an Ohio resident, I get sick and tired of them acting like they're the only ones that matter. Yeah, I went to the better Ohio University, actual Ohio University. This whole The Ohio State thing is such a joke. Like, get over yourselves, honestly.
Go Bobcats, baby. We are going to win our conference.
Michigan might honestly get destroyed in the playoffs. They did last year, to be fair.
No, Michigan looks good to do. Michigan looks good.
That's my Michigan. Who's your favorite college team, Thomas?
The Ohio University Bobcats.
Oh, well, yeah, duh.
Like literally, like I don't root for any other college. Like, I root for Duke in basketball because Duke is my dream school. So shout out to them.
Boo.
I like the Youngstown State Penguins because I went to Youngstown State. But no, Ohio University, man. I root for the Bobcats. If I wanted to see one team win the national championship, I want to see Ohio University win the national championship, man. That's like my
They've
home away
done
from
it
home.
before.
Yeah, they did.
They've done it before. I think on a technicality, but they've done it before.
So, you know.
Well, my
favorite
favorite team just straight up is the Bengals, Jay. I don't know about Thomas. Thomas has a lot of different teams. Thomas, if you had to pick one team out of all of your fandoms, who's the one that you like the most?
Probably Guardians.
Really?
I mean, it's close between the Browns and the Guardians.
Not the Cavs?
Well, no, because the Cavs are always number 3. Yeah, the Cavs are always number 3 for me.
With how passionate you get about the Cavs, I would assume that they'd be.
Oh, dude, I love the Cavs. Well, you got to realize we got 3 children here in Cleveland. You know, you love all 3.
Yeah.
No, I love the Cavs. I phenomenally love the Cavs. But see, that's tough. I do love the Cavs, but it comes down between the Browns and the Guardians. And I have to say the Guardians because, for one, I'm the same age as the Guardians press Progressive Field. My first sports games I went to my life were baseball games. I remember some of my first memories of life are being at that stadium. I watched my first job with the Guardians Indians. My first playoff game, which was this fall, I could feel walk-off home run, see the stadium go nuts. It's the Guardians, man. Like I love them Browns. Don't get me wrong. I love my Browns. But the Guardians, man, that's my team.
Yeah, mine's the Bengals. Like literally almost every other like sports thing I follow is partially based off of like how do I feel about that area's football team. Like I don't like the Cavaliers because they're the Cleveland team. You know, I don't like the Pittsburgh Pirates because of the Steelers. You know, it's just I literally it's the Bengals for me. The Bengals are like, you know, the team that I care about, and beyond that, it's like I care about other teams, but not above how much I care about the Bengals. Like it's football all day over here.
I'm just looking at all the stuff that they didn't only just plant the flag on the 50-yard line. They took photos on this thing. They danced on it, man. They had a whole party on the 50-yard line on the giant hole. Yeah. They were like, how much can we say F you, Ohio State? Fuck you, Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But I think that's probably going to do it for this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast, guys. Appreciate y'all showing up, all of you guys, for Matthew, Sergeant Crust Nugget, Mikey, Jay,
the boys,
everybody who came on and commented and just, you know, made things more fun. Gotta love it.
Saturdays for the boys.
So, I'll be streaming the Bengals Titans game tomorrow. I think that'll be the only stream I'm doing this weekend. At some point, I plan on kind of doing more streams, but it's really just kind of like, you know, what do I have time to do, right?
Yep.
Come the playoffs, you know, might be seeing a few more, but I'll, you know, right now I'm definitely streaming the Bengals game tomorrow. Anything you got coming out soon, Thomas?
Well, I'm working on a new song, but I got to finish writing it. Still got a little ways to go. I'm kind of taking my time with it.
All right.
But keep an eye out on that.
Hell yeah. All right.
Keep an eye out for that.
That's all we got for this one, guys. So till next time, y'all can always find more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/Phelps. The Battle of Ohio podcast, which is this, it's also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. ATBnetwork.com. Go check him out at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram, and the Thomas J Network on YouTube and TikTok. And don't forget to like and subscribe to both channels, all three channels. Like I said, he's, the Thomas J Network on YouTube. Go subscribe to him too. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Kyle Phelps, and don't forget to subscribe to the Battle of Ohio podcast. And you won't miss any of the content that we put out. But that's pretty much all I got for this one, Thomas. You got anything else?
Pittsburgh sucks. Go Browns. Go Cavs. That's all I got.
All right. Well,
thank you for watching, guys. Appreciate y'all.
There you go.
Come back next week.
With a hootie.
Go Browns.